start recording, then do we just read this right away? Okay.
Yeah, like you can grade everyone.
Yeah.
Just to cover all the bases. I know it's long.
No. It's fine. Welcome. Good evening. Today is March 20th. The time is 6:05. This is the meeting of the Youth Commission is now called to order. My name is Erica Zeiger and I am the chair for the Youth Commission. This open meeting of the Northborough Youth Commission is being conducted in person and remotely, consistent with the Chapter 2 of the Acts of the 2023 relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Youth Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate either in person or remotely. The Act allows the Northborough Youth Commission to meet entirely in person and remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of the recording of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Members, when I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Carrie Wolf. Present. Joan Clementi.
Present.
Erica Zeiger, I am here, and Judy Boyle.
Has she joined the panel?
She was there, but she's not there now.
Okay, so it's fine. And Jen Lipton. So welcome again. Let's we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Hopefully you have your agenda. We may have Judy may be joining us, and I believe Mary Ellen Dugan is on her way. So welcome again. I know this is our third meeting since we have been back. Why don't I back up a minute because I did not introduce the staff. So if you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself and a title.
Job description. No, my name is Caitlin Mitchell and I'm the social worker.
Isabella Caruso, Health and Human Services Director.
Liz Nolan, Community Outreach.
And hi, Judy.
Hi guys, I'm sorry, I haven't been able, I was previously, somebody must have promoted me to a panelist. I've been trying to log on. I can only log on as a webinar. So thank you, whoever made me official. Sorry.
Welcome. We're just starting.
I could hear you. I just couldn't talk.
Welcome, Joan, too.
Thanks.
So I wanted to start this discussion with a conversation on having a school health liaison. Prior to restarting, Mary Ellen Dugan, who is the district school nurse, and when she gets here, I'll let you know a little bit more about what she does, was at a few meetings. So I thought that it made sense for us to reach out to the district and see if they wanted to bring in a medical liaison, a wellness educator. And I thought Mary Ellen would be someone that would be welcome to come, but she could also designate someone as well. I did have a chance to look over the bylaws, and I will read them for you. So there's two different like honorary members. An honorary member, it says, members of the clergy in Northborough shall be honorary members of the Youth Commission, but shall be entitled to all the privileges of the members except the right to vote. Joan, I'm gonna read, do you remember ever having clergy?
We received input from clergy. I don't remember them coming and representing, or sitting on the panel. But I do remember receiving input from, two churches in town. I believe one was St. Rose of Lima and the other one was, I believe, the Federated Church. I don't remember the official name of it.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And then for the medical liaison, I thought the associate member would be the appropriate one. Associate members shall be elected by a majority vote of the members of the Youth Commission from those persons in the town of Northborough indicating their desire to be so associated. They have all the rights and privileges except the right to vote. So I thought we could open discussion on whether we thought that was a good idea and maybe like a couple of whys. So for me, it's wellness. I think she has Mary Ellen, or who she designates, being from the district medical nurse's office. She knows what is coming in, and she reaches out to all the nurses who could then let us know. So that was my first inclination to have her. Yes, she is. We were just talking about you.
Welcome, Mary Ellen.
Welcome. Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes.
We're talking about you, but it would be.
I heard, I was listening. I was listening I was joined while I was here. I am Mary Ellen Duggan. I am the district nurse leader and wellness coordinator. I'm from Northborough. I've lived here for over 35 years. My children grew up here. They're grown with their own children now. So I'm involved with many civic organizations in town. So that's me.
That's you.
In a nutshell.
So we were saying this is our third meeting since we've kind of regrouped and merged, or, it's now HHS, and we wanted to get, or I thought it would be a good idea to get like an official associate member from the district wellness office. So whether it's you that comes to the meetings when you can, or you send somebody, and we were just talking about the reasons why.
Okay, what would that person's responsibility?
Okay, so they have all the same rights, the same, I guess, what are they saying? The same, everything we do except vote. Basically, it would be a liaison. So if they're seeing, what wellness issues is kind of on the forefront, and then just bringing it to our attention and helping us game plan what the Youth Commission may be able to do to help the district and help the town.
Can I confirm just a technicality? Non-voting members are not required for quorum, right?
Correct. I do not think they would count.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
So participation, but we would not be dependent upon them.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
And how many members are there? of
So-
the Youth Commission?
So currently, there is four, and then Jen Lipton, but we have not been in contact with her. And then according to the bylaws, we can recruit 2 more voting members, which I think would be a great idea, but we can kind of get to that. And then we wanted to, or in the past, we had 1 to 2 youth liaisons. So those are high school students, and they do not vote. So they wouldn't count towards quorum as well.
Does it matter the age of the high school student or just the high school student?
We talked a little bit about that. We had thought freshmen up, just because with the freshmen, then they maybe will stay and be able to carry through. But I'm open for discussion on that, but I just, and knowing how busy it gets through high school too, I think it would be nice to have somebody, freshman or a sophomore. And our plan with that was to recruit, hopefully have them on board, say in June, and then we break for the summer and then kind of officially bring them on in September. Anything else?
No, I think the connection with the schools is something that we've worked on, since I've been here 3 years ago, and I think continuing that is just great.
I agree. Joan, anything that you have, like, from your history, anything you wanted to add?
I think that's a good idea about the youth liaison coming in as a freshman or a sophomore, because then they can carry through. Sometimes we kind of zeroed in on sophomores and juniors, just because they were a little bit more, they were more used to the high school, a little bit more mature to be able to process some of the issues that we discuss at the Youth Commission. But we went from having one to having two, and one or two worked out quite well.
And just thinking of the timing, they would be a sophomore, because I don't think we would recruit the 8th graders right now.
Yeah,
So-
I don't. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
They would be coming in as a sophomore. And Judy?
Yeah, I'm in agreement of having a student liaison, one or two. I had, excuse me, I was wondering, and you bring up a good point, Erica, if it was a freshman student, they're closer to the middle school, freshly out of middle school, and might have a better pulse on some of the issues coming out of middle school and be a great voice for that, because I had expressed, or communicated the idea of having a liaison to the middle school too, because I know that that's an area where we in the Youth Commission really want to support and, identify some goals. So, whether ideally, if we do set off into recruiting for an additional member or two to the Youth Commission, wouldn't it be great if we could have somebody, from Milliken, who's again right there, front line with the pulse of any
Yeah.
issues that we can help, address and support.
Yeah. Why don't we come back to that, because we do have to vote for Mary Ellen or her representative to be on the commission.
On the commission or as an associate?
Associate.
Okay.
Yeah, so to be an associate member, yes. So, does anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I can make the motion to vote.
And then I will second it, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, for some reason, I don't think you can see me, so I'll have to just say everything.
Yeah, that's fine, so welcome. Okay, so this is so we will read, I guess we have to read the motion, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can say the motion again.
You can,
So we
okay.
have it recorded.
All right, so, the Youth Commission, let me jot this down while
It's recorded too.
it's recorded, okay.
So we'll just take the minutes from it.
Okay, all right, so, so the Youth Commission has voted unanimously to bring on a liaison from the Northborough Southborough District Medical, what do you call your health and wellness office?
I'm the wellness coordinator.
Health and
yes.
Wellness Office. to assist us in making programming and helping us to learn more about what the challenges are of the youth and families in Northborough. Welcome.
Thanks.
So now
Welcome.
tell us, please. No,
Well, where do I start?
so I think we just wanted to kind of get an overview. We're working on some of our goals. So just an overview of maybe like the top, 2 or 3 things that you're seeing
Okay,
with
I
our
think
youth.
that, probably what we see from our surveys that we've done recently is we see, mental health and wellness is a big issue. A bigger issue with our female students than our male students, although an issue with all. The data from the female students from the last few years has shown a steady increase in all aspects in the mental health needs as well as substance use. Although our substance use numbers have declined, the number of females that are using has increased. So I think that's an issue or an area that we could, focus on. I think prevention education is always an area that we can focus on. If we get things upstream, then they won't be the public health issues that they are downstream.
Yeah.
I think those would be the biggest ones, and I think things for the kids to do, right?
Yeah, things for the kids to do,
Things for the
exactly.
kids to do, a place for them to go.
Exactly. Do you think, I'm just curious, do you think the girls are more honest than the boys? Or the girls are more in tune
I
to,
think that, like people often wonder the surveys, are they telling stories, are they lying, is it truth? But when you look at the surveys, whether that's done locally, regionally, nationally, the data all points in the same direction.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that it's that way throughout the whole United States, that people would do that, or they could figure it out to all answer the questions the same way. And a lot of the surveys, they'll ask the question multiple times in different ways to make sure it's valid.
Yeah.
So,
And I would just add some of the focus groups that Emily and I did, they really did validate that information. Like specifically to substance use, they weren't surprised that girls were actually vaping more than males. Like,
Yes, and yes.
so that was helpful. Like you try to like triangulate the data. So
Yeah.
getting different data sources.
So I would agree, just from, hearing things and reading different things, I would agree with that as well. And for the mental health, is it primarily anxiety, depression?
I think it's all of them.
It's a little bit of
It's not,
everything.
it's kind of like, oh, yeah.
A little bit of everything, yeah. And remind me, the schools. So I know that the Northborough schools, Southborough, they have a behavioral, how does it, I know there's a school nurse in each elementary school.
There's a school nurse in every school in our district, at least one. Some have 2. They're at the elementary levels. There are behavior specialists and school psychologists at every elementary school. When you get to the middle school, there are also guidance counselors and adjustment counselors, along with the behavior specialists and the school psychologists. And then at the high school, there are all of those, just in larger numbers.
Yes, thank you. And then my boys missed this, but I've heard a lot of great things about the middle school self program.
Yes.
With Julie Moranci, I believe, teaches that.
Yes. So that's part of our health program. We just got new frameworks for comprehensive health and physical education, and a lot of social emotional health is intertwined in those frameworks, in the curriculum frameworks. So the middle school does have, as part of their health and wellness programming, they have PE, health, and self class. And self class is social emotional learning foundations.
Perfect. And how often do they go to that?
Once a week.
So it is once a week.
So they have health once a week, self once a week, and PE twice a week. So if we look at wellness programming, that's what they have.
Wonderful, that's excellent. And Julie Moranci teaches that, because I think we had talked about reaching out to somebody, so I'd love to
Yes.
reach out to Mrs. Moranci, if that, I think that would be good, just to, maybe she could, give us some insight too. Any other questions or anything else on the district and their wellness programs?
I'll just add that, Caitlin and I, through Mary Ellen, we actually set up a meeting with the Melican, principal and vice principal.
Yeah.
So we were able to, share, what we were planning and doing, and so we're actually thinking, I'll let you also explain, but a transition 6-week, lunch group for the 8th graders, so as they're going to the high school.
Okay.
And then in the fall, something for the 6th graders as they're transitioning into the middle school. That's what we had talked about with lunch groups.
Oh, that would be great.
'Cause I think we were talking a lot about that, jumping from middle school to high school. It's like 2 different worlds, the same. Also, while we're gonna be meeting with the elementary schools as well soon. But like even for elementary, middle school, it's a lot. But definitely for 8th graders, they feel it a lot more when going into high school, especially like rigorous academics, preparing for college, and that can be overwhelming, especially while you're dealing with so many emotional time periods of middle school. So definitely working on trying to build that transitional piece to get those conversations going, but then hopefully have like some special guests come in, like the guidance counselor from the high school or somebody to come in and kind of talk and validate or answer questions. So been trying to start to think about that and what that would look like going into the next couple of weeks.
And then we have a similar meeting set up with the elementary school principals next week.
Okay. That would be great. And then for students that do not attend Northborough schools, either they go to a private school or they go to different schools. I can't think of
Vocational.
Vocational.
But not vocational, but when they are, Liz, you probably know, not
Charter
homeschooled,
schools,
when they go, when the services of Northborough can't meet their needs,
they're outplaced.
they're outplaced. So if I'm correct, those students, if they're on any type of 504 or IEP, they're still tracked by the schools, aren't they?
They're still our
They're
students.
still your students, that's my
Correct.
question, yes.
They're still our
They're
students.
still your students. So even though we're saying district, you do have eyes and ears on those that may need a little extra.
So anybody, even if they go to a private school, have access to services in the schools.
Yes, yes.
Or homeschooled, whatever
Yes.
they are.
So-
If they live in Northborough,
If they
they
live
have
in-
access to the school.
Great. I think that's important for everybody to understand because they may not be in our buildings, but they're still part of Northborough community and receive the services. So anything else you wanted to anyone wanted to go over with the district's wellness program? When we go over goals, I think we'll definitely hit upon that again, but otherwise we can kind of move forward to the next agenda item. Can I switch this around?
Yeah, of course.
And then we can make it, I think, why don't we move to 6 to approve the minutes? And then we can kind of move back. Did everyone have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Any changes to the minutes?
Not from my end, Joan speaking.
No.
No.
Not from
Um,
Judy, nope.
No. Perfect. So I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 27th.
I'll
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Perfect, perfect. All right.
Joan, did you say aye? Sorry, I'm just taking notes.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I
All
don't know.
right.
I'm fiddling around with this thing. I don't know why you can't see me.
No worries.
Oh, no
Perfect.
worries.
So that was
Maybe, maybe because I am fiddling around with it.
That could be it, that could be it.
Do you see something on your screen anywhere, and it might be hidden at the moment, that says start video?
Yeah, I do. Should I start hit that?
If you want us to see you, we'd love to see you.
Thank you.
There you are.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. You just learned your new thing for today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Judy.
Ben, we've seen you before, so it must have been some type of glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have seen you before.
Okay.
Our last meeting, we were talking about, some goals for the youth commission. So I went ahead and we kind of are like, shopping some of them. I am gonna just go ahead and read what I have. And we can kind of go from there. And we did get input from everybody. So I will go ahead and read. So, in no particular order either. Represent the residents of Northborough on needs and challenges of the wants for the needs and challenges for the youth and families of Northborough. Offer guidance, insight, and solutions with the HH staff and during monthly youth commission meetings. This includes, but not limited to, word of mouth, focus groups, and surveys. Utilize data and other resources, this would be number 2. Utilize data and resources from the HHS and additional town resources to organize, lead, and support programs designed to enhance the well-being of Northborough youth. Assist with outreach efforts by attending various town events and meetings on behalf of the youth in the community. So we had some input and I just, kind of put this together and we can obviously rework them. But to go back to the first one, represent the residents of Northborough on needs and challenges. I basically took that from the purpose of the Youth Commission. And then guidance, insight, and solutions with the staff and during the meetings. So basically this to me would be our goal is to collect information. And discuss that. But
If I could input, it used to always be, we were a management board, and then it changed to an advisory board with one of the town administrators. So I think there should be some verbiage, unless it will be changed again, to be an advisory board or advice to HHS.
Yes, that makes sense. I'm just reading so it's represent the residents of Northborough on the needs and challenges of the youth of the families. Something like serve as an advisory board or.
I mean, I think that's your mission.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to you if you want to separate those into goals or.
That is true. Yeah, that would be a high level over. Yeah, agreed.
Yes. Now, so the purpose of the youth commission, can we change that or is that?
I think that's in the bylaws, so.
Yeah. So the purpose says, the youth commission shall be seen as a vehicle to carry out programs which may be designed or established to meet the opportunities, challenges, and problems of the youth and their families of Northborough in conjunction with any similar or related programs of any agency of the Commonwealth or any agency of the federal government. So I think it does make sense to include some type of advisory in the goals, since it doesn't specify.
Was it always there that the youth commission created and carried out the programs? I thought it was always in support of, at that time, it was Northborough Family and Youth Services Department. Not that total action, but in support of the action carried out by the town department.
I'm not sure what if it can.
I'm not sure, I don't have them right in front of me, I was trying to find them. What does it say in the bylaws? Does it say that we do that, or,
The purpose. I'm just trying to see if I can see any.
thank you.
The Youth Commission shall be seen as a vehicle to carry out programs which.
Oh, okay,
So is
thank
it?
you.
Yeah, so
Thank
that's
you. Thank you, Erica.
in the purpose. So that stays, correct? And then the goals we established that's how I kind of understood it. So I'm open if we want to add in, represent, so offer guidance, insight, and solutions with the HH staff. So I get what you're saying as an advisory.
Only because I think, and I don't know how this is working right now, Isabella, but every department usually has a commission or a board that would advise them. Isabella, do you have another commission or board that advises Health and Human Services?
So the Board of Health offers,
Okay.
they vote on regulations and variances.
Okay, all right, so you have another, okay, they wrote them, all right.
So
So,
I'm sorry, what was their three again? Their guidance,
The Board of
the
Health.
Board of Health.
I mean, they provide guidance.
Guidance, okay.
But they also have more of a regulatory, component.
Cool, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joan.
so in providing guidance or advisory, advising Health and Human Services, I guess it's really open to interpretation right now and what people really want.
Yeah. Judy?
So we're still talking about the purpose, right?
So I think we've moved back to the goals. The
Okay.
purpose changed, or at least not now. So by taking the purpose, trying to create a couple of goals,
Mm-hmm.
we are able to add to that.
I guess maybe what can help is, do we want to be considered as an advisory board? And Isabella, is that what you're looking for from this board?
I think it's us coming together. So say we keep seeing a lot of food insecurity. It's we come to you all to brainstorm some ideas of how we can help better serve the Northborough community. So I think it's a lot of brainstorming together.
Okay.
What you want to attach to that is up to you.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I was wondering that too, Joan, because given what we've heard over the recent meetings, that idea of actively running programs or vehicle to carry out programs actually seems like it would not be a useful set of activities to you all. It sounds like advisory support is really.
I think if you wanted to make a program, that's totally fine, we'll support it. But yeah, I think, education, and I really don't think we should forget about the outreach. You are all in the community and you see and hear things, and also people see you now as youth commission members. So that outreach is really important.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking of how we can kind of reword that second sentence. Offer guidance, insight, and solutions. I mean, it's like, so as an advisory board, but I know what you're saying, it's more of a coming together.
In collaboration with.
Yes. So offer guidance, insight, and solutions in collaboration
Or
with.
started with, in collaboration.
Oh,
with
okay.
HHS.
So in collaboration with HHS, offer guidance, insight, and solutions. And then,
I don't know if
I,
we skipped, I'm sorry.
oh, no, go, please, please.
I don't know if we skipped over this part yet, but is a summary sentence possibly advise HHS on needs of the townspeople or populace? And if I could back up, it would be the youth and family needs. And we could define that even further.
So,
Yes.
oh, I know, we can change this up, but I had just had represent the residents of Northborough. So
Good.
we could add represent, we could think about and add something else, but represent the residents of Northborough on needs and challenges for the youth and their families.
Oh, that's good. That sounds good.
Okay.
To borrow from our purpose, and this is just a personal thing I like to emphasize, I also love that the purpose includes the word opportunity. I'd love us to not focus only on deficits or that needs and challenge language.
Yeah, we could,
Yeah.
add that to represent the residents of Northborough on opportunities, needs, and challenges. And we can just add that in, that's great. So we are kind of in that one sentence to refocus the purpose.
Now, do we have in there, because I thought I heard that we do want to be an advisory board. Do we have in there that we offer advice to Health and Human Services? Or is that not needed? Are we just duplicating at this point?
What do you think?
I
mean,
thought that first sentence that you guys were wordsmithing.
in collaboration
Right.
with HHS.
That makes it that we're equal.
Yes, in collaborate, yes, yes,
And we're not.
Do you state youth specifically in that statement?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Where is it stated? I haven't heard it yet.
Represent the residents of Northborough on needs and challenges for the youth and families.
Okay.
I can represent the residents.
No,
Yeah.
I think maybe it gets better.
Yeah. No, because I noticed the same thing when I was reading. So I guess as far as going back to the advisory board, is that something that we, like we defer to you? Are we an advisory board? When I read through it, I got the impression that it was more of a working together type
It never was.
It never was.
It can change, but it was not that before. I mean, I think it can change. I don't think you have to go through town meeting or anything to change it.
I think it's taking the bylaws and applying it as you all see fit.
Yeah.
And I think these are working goals as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, these are more internal, working goals. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn. I think that when it was youth and family services and there wasn't a higher level, I can see where it would be more of an advisory board, but now that it's Health and Human Services and you do have a full-time social worker and outreach and the relationships, I don't know if we would advise as much as prior, because I would think that they're the professional, they're the ones that are working every day in the community. But I'm open to suggestions.
I kind of think you are an advisory board to them. You're bringing, like, the Board of Health is bringing all the regulatory stuff to Health and Human Services, and you're bringing all of the concerns of the youth and families to them. Like, this is what's going on in our community. What can we do together? How can we collaborate together to find a solution? So I would see you as you were, as an advisory board, then, like, you're bringing to them. You're not advising them per se, but
Yeah, I
you're bringing
think-
to them.
Yeah, I think that's,
And that's what an advisory board would do.
Right, and I do think we need to define the board as either working or advisory, and definitely not working, so I do think it should be an advisory board. And
What-
bringing things forward is giving advice.
yes, yeah. So as the youth commission, we would be the eyes and the ears and bring different topics to these meetings. And then in collaboration, work together to find those solutions.
So in collaboration, what I'm understanding this, is in collaboration is, well, will advise, I'm going back to the original sentence, I'm thinking advise, comma, offer guidance, comma, advise, comma, offer guidance, insight and solutions to the HHS, and then in collaboration with the HHS, carry out the goals.
Carry out our goals, yeah.
So that would be, so not the
So-
purpose, be the goal. Can you read it again? What you,
So the first bullet point, it's originally started, offer guidance, comma, insight and solutions with the HHS staff. If we start that sentence with advise, comma, offer guidance, insight and solutions to the HH staff, ... And then another bullet point would be in collaboration with HHS. Now we're gonna,
go
define
on,
define the goals.
yeah, I'm
Or
wondering,
carry out the strategies.
do you think we should start, serve as an advisory board and then list what we're gonna do? Because I know what you're saying, Joe, to kind of have it mished in there doesn't necessarily, it's not clear.
Yeah, and like Mary Ellen was saying, we are, it is an advisory board.
Yeah.
And, basically, yeah, we can help do the work and things that need to get done, but that's really, Isabella's team that is really doing all that.
Yeah,
I think you could do something like, as the advisory board to the Health and Human Services Department, we aim to bullet point, bullet point.
okay,
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what we can, do we need to like decide tonight? Could we kind of just hold this and then move on and then maybe come back? And at that point, discuss when we kind of have it a little more finalized? Are we able to do that?
I would like that. I like to see things in writing. And
Yeah,
I would like that.
okay, that, yeah, that works for me as well. And then the second one was utilize data and other resources from the HHS and additional town resources to organize, lead, and support programs designed to enhance the well-being of Northborough youth. I like the idea of trying to organize programs, like to give the kids something to do. And the purpose, it does say to carry out programs. Now, by programs, I don't mean like one a month, but just to reintroduce ourselves and the programs to me would be in line with the mission of the health and wellness department and also with what the schools are saying.
We never carried out any programs. I mean, we would help run dances. That's about it. We would represent at times at Applefest. We would, say this is Youth and Family Services, but we never actually did do the programs. I'm not saying that can't change. I'm just saying that's the history.
Okay, do you know if Southborough's Youth Commission does programs? I'm just curious.
I have no idea. I cannot answer
Yeah.
that question.
No, okay.
I think it's a great opportunity. You know, if you build your commission and then get your name out there and
Yeah,
this is what we're doing to build our youth up, you know, to
yeah.
create protective factors for our youth.
In the phrasing around a vehicle to carry out programs, would that mean that if we did go that route and we created and managed something, say it's a one-time event? Sorry to be such like a weird nuance on this, but
No.
would we be covered under the town of Northborough's certificate of insurance, for example, or anything
Good
along?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so, because like the community affairs, I'm thinking of the community
Yeah.
affairs, they do different programming, but that's a great question.
I think you would do it under Health and Human Services. That's the
Yeah.
advisory board to them. It wouldn't be,
Yeah,
it would be in collaboration. with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
and for programs, I would think more, I know Liz and I had talked about you're bringing a nutritionist in. So, some type of program surrounding healthy eating, or I wouldn't want to go too into the woods of, certain topics, and then obviously no counseling, nothing like that. But
I don't know if we should do that. I don't know if that's creating a slippery slope.
Well, no counseling.
Excuse me?
I just wanted to make sure that you understood, no counseling,
Oh,
nothing,
yeah, of course, right, yeah.
nothing, more of the fun topics or something that would bring the kids together, that they would be able to learn, and then their parents would learn about us.
So kind of an educational.
Educational, hands-on, because they're,
I think it should still be the HHS creates programs and we support them in what they create. Yes, we can say, oh, we would like you to bring in a nutritionist, but they have to be the director of the programs.
do you,
That's just my opinion. I think it makes it clear cut and it defines roles and responsibilities rather than merging roles and responsibilities.
my only concern with that is, I don't want to give them more work.
I think it's again in
It would be a
collaboration. So it's,
collaboration.
again, it's like, oh, we're seeing this food trend, like what can we do? But I think also like, this is just like, you could do like one event like chalk with kids. Like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
like even educational. I think it could be just,
Sure.
a community. small
event. Yeah, it could even be in collaboration with some of the other community groups if they're doing something.
Or I think of like the fingerprinting, like a day collaborating
Yeah.
with the police department or something like, I know that was something beneficial
Yeah,
that my mom like talked about one time as
Yeah.
I started this job, of an idea for youth that she found beneficial at my young age and my brother's young age, like something, could be something small, and then we could help support that, or building foundation.
foundational
Like,
programs.
I live in Milford, and I know that one of the commissions, well, they did a big event recently for family and youth, but they had like different vendors, kind of like our wellness fair, but a little bit different, more focused on like safety. And that was, I think, recently. I can't remember which commission, so I'm not gonna quote them. But I know that was an event that I saw in my local community in Milford recently, but that was run, from what I saw, based on their marketing, it was run by a specific commission. I don't think there is a youth center in Milford, but I don't know if they were supportive, but I can't really quote too much
Yeah.
because I didn't go
Okay.
there. I don't have kids, and I would not want to win a free bike for
Yeah.
when I don't need it. But yeah, that could be like an idea, something small, but that was something a little bit bigger. That was more around like safety.
So we could just remove organize and lead, and then we're back at supporting programs.
Help them organize.
Ideas.
Yes.
I think you could help organize.
Yeah.
Like support and organize.
organization.
Support and
Maybe not
organize.
lead,
Yeah.
And
although you may take on the lead, but.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to organize, yeah. And then what do you think about going back, utilizing the data and other resources? I was gonna say remove from the HHS. That way, like utilize data and other resources.
Well, yeah,
The town resources, I don't wanna be too repetitive because we keep saying that, so,
What are you using the data and other resources for? What's the rest of that statement, or is that?
that's the helping to organize and create the
Oh.
programs,
I would say to inform.
to inform, yeah,
Using the data to
to
inform.
inform.
Is there
Program.
specific data you're interested in?
I would love to see, like, I know Jen is coming, like, just kind of, I'd really like to see the data, and so I can say, yeah, this has been an issue, then just kind of trying to, assume or guess.
All of the data from our Metro West survey is available on the district website.
Yes,
Under the wellness section.
yes,
So there's all of the data from our last, from 2023.
yeah,
There.
And then they'll be doing it again in the fall.
yeah, and I kind of just put that in because I think it's important that when we're making these, when we're trying to advise and help, we have data to go back to.
I mean, I don't think it even needs to always be our data, right? Like you can,
Oh, yeah,
you can look
yeah, well,
nationally and
that's
see
what I was
like
thinking.
what social media, the
Yeah.
impact social media has on, or the
Yeah.
impact of cell phones. So do you wanna
Yeah, using
do
data
something there?
and other resources too, yeah.
Like promote
because-
wait till 8, like there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that,
Just
like
don't-
getting yourselves out there as a youth commission, I think as a reinvigorated and
Mhm.
reimagined youth
Mm.
commission would be great. Like, is anybody gonna be at the wellness fair? Like, here we are,
Yeah.
the youth commission at the Be Well summer kickoff, here we have youth commission.
Yeah.
And just your name out there saying, and then people might bring to you what their problems are.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I can do the same thing. I'll reword this one, and then we move into the assist with outreach efforts by attending various town events and meetings on behalf of the youth in the community. So that would be the outreach piece.
We can't attend on behalf and for Health and Human Services.
No, I know you're, Dan, but on behalf of the youth, but how could we word that? Assist with outreach efforts by attending various town events.
I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, various town events,
Yeah, like that.
yeah, and then,
So, I mean, we have upcoming outreach.
Yes,
things
yes.
coming up where we have a table and different things. So
That's
there's no
what-
reason why
We wouldn't
your
join.
representation couldn't be
Yeah.
with us as well.
that's what my interpretation of outreach is. If there's various events and we're invited or, we have time, then we would go and, bring a few things and hopefully people come and we can kind of get our name back out there. That's what I was thinking for outreach, not necessarily, attending any of the meetings unless there's a reason for us to.
I think outreach would be good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so, especially since there's been so many changes.
There's also just a ton of that.
I was gonna say, there's also just a ton of events. And we're all at different stages, and that's a way to get to know issues that you might not see every day, different avenues and just different things, so. Does that one sound good? So,
It does.
okay, so I'll reword these and then I'll send them out. And Joan reminded me, I know we're not supposed to talk over email, so.
So I would just send a draft to me or Jess, and then we can circulate them out right before the meeting.
Okay.
Just with like the agenda.
And then we
you
can
guys-
go over, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Just,
just avoid the back.
okay.
I would like to read them before, not necessarily discuss online or
Yeah,
out of the
we'll
meeting.
send them out to
Oh,
the
okay,
commission,
okay.
probably the week, or the week before.
Oh, good, thank you.
Judy, did you have
Erica, I'm sorry. And I apologize for the conflict tonight. Thank you for everybody for rearranging your schedule. I know I'm going off topic here, but I actually do need to hop off in like 3 minutes. So I wanted to, one, see if there's anything we're gonna be voting on tonight. And if so, could we try to do that in the next couple minutes? Two, so when I agreed to take these two commissions, I got misinformation because I would not have joined both if there were going to be conflicts. So I just want to, if I may skip ahead, when I'm looking at future meeting dates, the Master Plan Implementation Committee meets the third Thursday every other month, which means I have a conflict with the Youth Commission on May 15th. So I know we have some time. And I only went as far as that date. So as a commission here, I would like to resolve some future conflicts. So I'm not in this situation again, because I feel terrible having to hop off in a minute. So if we're going to be voting on these future meeting dates, I would not be able to meet on May 15th. So at 7 o'clock anyways, because so the MPIC meets the third Thursday every other month at 7 p.m. by Zoom for now.
I mean, I don't know if everybody can make it, but could we do 6 o'clock? Would that give you enough time, or would you prefer?
I just feel terrible, like if we're
No,
not done discussing by 7, I'll have to cut off. I want to give each committee my undivided attention and not have to leave one meeting early to go to another one. So does this need to be decided tonight?
Say we could think about it, and then in April, we could kind of finalize that, because you
Okay.
don't have conflict in April, correct?
I do not have a conflict in April. Yep.
That'll work.
Okay.
Would it make sense for all of us to potentially put that hold on 6 p.m. as well for May, just in case?
Okay.
Yeah, if that works for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. Do you guys need me for anything at this point? You have a quorum to close out the meeting in a few? Or when you're
No.
done?
The one thing I know we had talked about, and we can go back in April, was I know you had mentioned a middle school liaison. And I wasn't sure, did you mean a middle school child or someone from the middle school?
Well, again, I'm going to defer to some of the more experienced members of this commission, and certainly Joan, you are one of those. So if there's a reason why you're advising against having a middle school student serve in any role or any liaison capacity to our commission, it just seems that there should be somebody, MMS should have, I feel should have some voice, some advisory role to us or something, whether it's a teacher, just some type of liaison to our committee that's the voice for Milliken. And that's where I was saying, if it's decided that the high school student will be a freshman, that's why I was saying, well, they're fresh out of Milliken, so maybe they would be an appropriate voice. but they'll only be a freshman for 1 year, so that, that kind of throws that theory out of.
Yeah, well, because we figured they wouldn't be, when we said they wouldn't be a freshman unless they really couldn't be, because if we recruit, they're already at Algonquin. Or any other, I guess they could be a Northborough at another high school.
Yeah.
I love the idea of having a representative from Melican, but I think a student is too young.
Okay,
Yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think they're,
I do too. It's a good point. We did have a couple of teachers that did teach at Melican, and that was really quite helpful. But I
yeah,
do think, because sometimes the subjects we discuss can get very heavy. I think
Yeah.
the kids from Melican are too young, and I think they're kids. Let them be kids for a little bit. When they go into high school, they're going to see a lot of the problems. They
Yeah.
don't see them at Melican,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I think they're too young personally.
Yeah.
Guys, do you need me? I really do need to.
Oh,
Plus, I'm
sure.
getting introduced at that meeting. It's my first. I've got to run.
All right. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Hi, Judy.
Sorry.
No
No
worries,
worries.
thank you.
No worries.
I would love to reach out to Melican and get even if they don't, I believe when Gretchen she was a full-fledged,
She was.
right?
She was right. And she was.
Even if they prefer to be some type of liaison, we can kind of talk with them. But I do think a student is just too young. Not saying we can't bring them in maybe for a meeting, here or there.
Yeah.
I think.
And to Judy's point about, freshmen just came out of 8th grade. To me, we need to think about that. We never had a freshman, and I'm not quite sure we really should.
Well,
I mean, again, due to the nature of some of the discussions.
yeah, I mean, they could be a freshman now, but if they were to start in September, they would then be a sophomore.
Yeah.
I don't know even if we wanted to, unless we recruited to a middle school, they wouldn't be because they would be getting in.
Now,
Some 8th graders who are more mature than some seniors.
Yeah.
So I think it's not.
yeah, that is true.
They're in. I think that I'm not sure about the discussions that happen and the level of maturity needed. So I don't know any of that, but I would think that some 8th graders are probably mature enough and you would get the recommendations of the people at the school, if that's what you wanted to do. And it could be bringing in an 8th grader towards the end of the school, like after January or February, say after February break, so that you're priming them for the next 4 years, hopefully to be a part.
I still think they're too young. We talked, maybe we wouldn't, but we talk about homeless, we talk about Narcan, we talk about people living in their cars with their children, actually, that was occurring in town. Some of these things the kids take home, and it could really, the way they process could be really detrimental to them.
One suggestion, sort of tabling it is I think we're all on board of trying to get someone from the high school or, of high school age, and then a liaison from Melican, an adult. And then at that point, we could meet a few times, see how that's going. And if we do feel that we need a more representative from the middle school, we could revisit it. Because this is just what, we're trying to do to build up our board.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Quick question. So what is your recruiting? Is it a 3-year term that you're looking for?
So that I don't know. It didn't say, so I think that was something else. If they're considered, so they would be an associate member. So that was one thing I was kind of looking for clarification in how it's been done in the past. Because when I go to associate members, I don't see that there's a time frame. I mean, I would say 2 years would be ideal because they would, you know, 2 years would be ideal because they would, you know, be able to pick up things, they'd get more comfortable, but I also would not want to turn away someone who was, you know, a senior who's, you know, really interested in this too. So I don't know if we decide or if there's somewhere else to go for, further guidance.
I can talk to the town administration.
Yeah, that's what yeah, I mean, so, and then as far as recruiting for the youth, would we, I was thinking just if we know anybody that we would send, because we're gonna send a regular town application, how is that gonna work?
So now that it's an associate member, I'm not sure we need.
To do that, so maybe we could, or come up with some, like a role, did you have something in the past?
For associate members?
Or for the youth,
Oh, for the youth commission? I'm sorry, the youth liaisons?
the kids would be, the high school kids would be considered associate members.
Oh, you know, I don't know whether they were in the past.
Like what their role would
Like a
be,
little blur.
job
Yeah.
description.
So I think you could send it out to, I mean, we have our director of entrepreneurship, I'm not even sure of her real name, but you
Yeah.
know, like if someone's interested in town government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do that, you know, I think it would be great. Or
Yeah.
Their guidance counselors.
Yeah,
Would be a good, or any of the.
someone
Career
else,
services.
Yeah.
Michelle.
yeah, so,
What used to occur is, a guidance counselor was on the youth commission, and she would announce that there are openings to be a liaison, come down and if you're interested, come down and fill a form out. And I think Isabella has the form. They would fill out the form, and then the forms we would all review at the table and then decide from there.
yeah, I think we would do something similar. I think we would just utilize the counselors and the Michelle Kalen, I can't think of her title either. The career exploration, and I think, I mean, I know as a parent, I would love to see it in the emails that come to us.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah, that would be good.
I mean, just, to kind of throw it out there.
Like it probably needs to go in the kids get a separate email.
The Canvas.
Similar, like,
Yeah.
the week ahead.
Yeah, Mrs. Brown does that, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
So if you put it in there, that's where that's the
Yeah.
only place the kids are gonna see it. The parents might see it in the email that come out, but the kids will see it in the week ahead.
yeah, because I think with social media and texting and emailing, I think that's gonna be the best way.
Get it on their Instagram.
Get it on their Instagram, yeah. I would if we could even reach out to, some of the accounts, like there's the Harbinger, there's so many. There's so many, the Gone Brand, the Gone Fist, yes, there's a lot, but because I wanna make sure that we have a wide variety. We have a, open net,
This is, getting the students to be on any coalition or committee is a challenge. So this isn't the only place that it's a
Yeah.
challenge.
That is true. We didn't get a ton of applications, so yeah, that is.
Yeah, and we want quality, you know what I mean? We wanna make sure that they're invested, and obviously they don't need to attend every meeting, but we want them to be interested and engaging.
Can offer it as service hours, there's a lot of ways to get.
Yes, so,
An entrance.
yeah, so maybe we could kind of brainstorm some ideas on that too.
And speaking of that, maybe we could even do the town newspaper. I can't remember the name of it. Because we had 2 kids from St. John's and they were great. They were, they lived in Northborough and they're from St. John's.
So that, we could definitely, as long as they're Northborough residents.
Yes, right.
So maybe Liz, we could kind of brainstorm too, because I know you have lots of connections. So I would love to have them by our June meeting. if we could, so.
And we're looking for 2.
I think, 1 to 2, I think we shoot for 2 and see.
I think it'd be nice, at least you have 2, if one can't make it, then the other one hopefully can.
Yeah.
They'll feel more comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
so,
and they can discuss amongst themselves, at a, peer-to-peer level on what happened, rather than talking to one of us.
exactly. All right, perfect.
I had another question I just wanted to throw out, and I don't know if this would just complicate everything. Should we still be named the Youth Commission since we support Health and Human Services Department now? Because the department used to be called
Yeah,
Northwest Family and Youth Services.
So the Youth Commission, the name comes from state law.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And so it's still appropriate then?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, and then we can move on, Isabella, if you want to give your.
Yep, I'll keep it short and sweet. So a lot of these programming updates are similar to last month's. The only one thing I wanted to add is for the 4th year in a row, we have been not awarded, but a Department of Public Health, local public health intern. So it's typically a college or master's level student. So that will be happening June 2nd through August 15th. So Michaela and I will be supervising the intern, and the project will all be about digital literacy, so social media and mental health. So that was our topic, and we're gonna kind of guide them in a project, but it's a paid state Department of Public Health internship.
So that's that's excellent for everybody. So do you choose who comes, or do
So
they?
the state kind of interviews and picks them based on their interest in the projects.
That's excellent,
Yeah, it is excellent.
excellent,
So
great.
that is that, and then do you want to quickly talk about your drop-in hours in the book club?
Yeah, so, again, having drop-in hours starting next month, on the 8th. And then, so that will be from 3 to 5 in the library, the teen and adult program room. So on the 2nd floor, be there dropping, anybody can drop in, no registration needed. There is a line, which I don't know if there will be, just be patient with me. And then again, Words of Wellness Book Club, April 15th. So, and that's from 6 to 7. I finished the book, it's really great. Also, it's nice because you can jump around to chapters because they're all based on individual sections. So one about stress, one about grief, one about just a lot of regulation of yourself. So it's a little less pressured of a book to have to read from front to back. And there's a lot of discussion conversations. The library should have about 10 books in their behind the circulation desk there. And I think we have 2 audio CDs, but it is also on the Libby app as well that you can listen to with audio and also read it online. So it's a really great book by Julie Smith, Dr. Julie Smith, I should say. So she's a great psychologist, and she also does, if people are really invested in her book, she did a lot of TikTok videos. She has videos on YouTube as well, talking about some concepts, and there's some really great tools that she brings to it. So looking forward to a discussion about it next month.
Great.
To spread the word.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the book club too, but for that, are we able to go through the schools to bring that into, so that, that goes into the weekly emails that come home? So each school, we get an email on Friday from the Algonquin principal. We get one on Tuesdays from the superintendent, and I'm sure the middle schools do that. And I just didn't know if that was something that would come in that.
We
For
can
the
submit
drop-in,
it.
I
Yeah.
wonder if, I mean, they're so tricky, they're very tricky, so,
Yeah, I mean, you can always submit it.
yeah.
I don't think there's any problem with it. It would need to be a flyer, like something that you can just.
Yeah,
put
I
out in
mean,
there.
I don't know, I mean, I think it's just another way, and who knows what people even reading in these days, but it's a lot of good info.
This is for adults, correct?
The book club is for adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the
the
hours.
drop-in hours are for all residents.
The whole length.
I would like maybe do a flyer with both of those things, and that would get in there.
Yeah.
So drop-in hours.
Yeah, we
Because,
have the flyers, so we can,
But we can combine them.
we can
Yeah.
combine them in.
With both, no.
Yeah. And then I do wonder if they would push it out on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, so, but yeah, the drop-in hours are for all ages at this time to drop in, and like, for any seniors, like, we can definitely, like, if somebody comes to me with an issue, I could also collaborate with, Jocelyn from the senior center as well, to kind of help,
yeah, perfect.
facilitate, but yeah, I know sometimes people don't think of things in the moment, and when someone else is near, it's nice to have that person nearby.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, so it's for all ages, but yeah, the book club right now is only for adults.
Okay.
Just because I think like with teens, they have so
Yeah,
much,
and then.
they have enough reading.
Yeah.
Requirements.
Yes, exactly.
So, but yeah, something for adults and parents, so, perfect.
And then I will pass it to Liz to talk about our two biggest upcoming events.
Right, we have lots of stuff happening in April. The big one is the Blood Mobile that's going to be held on April 1st from 10 to 3:30. As of the end of today, we had just 16 openings left, so. I think there's one in the morning and the rest is in the afternoon, so it's good. So we're just still trying to push it out because I want to fill them all.
Yes, yes.
I liked your Instagram. It was like, learn your blood type, because I feel like everyone loves to know.
Yeah.
And you get a free shirt.
You do get a free t-shirt from MGH, that is what they do. And then I happen to know somebody who works at Muya, and they're also gonna give some coupons for shakes, so anybody who comes in. Perfect. And the other one is the Health and Wellness Fair that's being held on Wednesday, April 2nd, at the library from 4 to 7 p.m. So we have 20, maybe 21 or 22 tables for vendors with a good representation. We're gonna try to put it out on like the DPW signs, which I wanted to talk with you, but we're putting that out, hoping that we have a good participation from everybody. I think what I'm trying to do on social media too is also doing like a little write-up on each of the vendors too, so people know who they are, what they represent, and they have interest, they can come up. A map of the tabling is coming out soon too, so people know where to find them. So that's all good. And then going into May, we have possibilities of some community events that we can have a table, including the town cleanup. We have a meeting with the Rotary Club in May. We're hoping to also have a meeting with the Lions Club. They also do a lot in the community, just again, so that they know who we are, what we do, and how we can collaborate in any way.
Yeah.
The Multilingual Parent Advisory Council meeting is on May 8th, which we're also going to be part of. And they also have an international night on May 16th. And the last day of school, the Be Well event, we should have a table at as well, as long as we can staff it.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the outreach events, what would you wanna send us or send an email out and, we have this event and can anyone come to it? Like, what would be the best way to?
So I can give you a list of what is happening, and the times and the dates, and you can arrange your schedule to at least have maybe one extra person, that would be great.
Okay.
But we have all the, we have flyers and brochures, and we have.
We have just like a tub that, like a little,
Yeah.
our tablecloth, which Mary Ellen saw at the last event, and then all of like the flyers.
And it's outreach, so,
But, you being youth commission,
I would love
if
to
you have something that you wanna put out,
that's, Yeah, that would be, I have nothing right now, but I'm sure I
Canva
can,
is a great tool.
Yeah, you can create something.
yes, I'm sure I
Keep
can
it a
think
fire.
of something, yeah, so, yeah, so that way we can start to, as it gets nicer, I'd love to start helping more.
We would love your help.
So can I put in a plug for Wellness Week?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
please.
March 31st to April 4th is Wellness Week, and we're tagging in with the Health and Human Services and all of their plans, but also they're opening they're having a grand opening of the new ADA trail, the one that's up by the senior center is happening that week. And there is a free CPR class happening that week, Thursday night, not free, $10, so
Yeah,
almost. There's a lot of free happenings, going on through town. There's some challenges for the students, talking about all aspects of wellness, and, they can win a bike if they fill out the form, if they do partake in a sleep challenge or designing a helmet or any of the offerings that happen through the week, so.
I think it's great. I think this wellness, the fair, the week,
Eric is gonna do some meditation, meditation and mindfulness for the
Relaxation.
staff.
I just think it is so needed, and I just think it's great to have everybody coming together, and that's that's the wellness week.
And May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're gonna be.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting to plan for that, so we
We'll
gotta.
definitely put on the agenda.
Yeah, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. So I did have youth commission reports and updates. So moving forward, would that be, like, do we have to, I know, I remember seeing a report and it says in the bylaw something with town meeting. Do I have to do anything, basically? Do we have to do anything that,
No, I would say departments, complete annual
Complete, okay.
reports, but
all right, so, that was just my question. I wanted to make sure I'm
checking all the boxes.
checking all the boxes, exactly.
No, I think that was just, and we can adjust the agenda, but just a
Yeah, yeah.
placeholder if there was any other.
Yeah,
information in there.
if there's anything else, we can obviously, talk about that, so. Nothing, all right, so I just wanna kinda go over what we went over, so I am gonna take a look, take everybody's input and put together the goals. And then I will send them to Isabella or Jess, and then you will get them sent out, and then we can kind of, hopefully they're fine-tuned enough, and then we can move forward from there. These are our goals, so this doesn't need to be approved or anything, correct? It's just something that we can kind of work with, like we have the purpose, and they're working goals. They can be on paper, and I really would hope to, kind of finalize them, but they can be changed. And then we will start doing outreach if we can, and I think that was it. Oh, and then of course our high schooler, we'll start to recruit. And then I will, hopefully get some interested people, and then Joan, so we bring it back here, that's how it's been done in the past, and then just discuss it, or do you bring them in to meet as well?
No, we would, look at the papers that they filled out, discuss it, and then vote right then and there on, who to bring onto the, as a liaison. But you do know, as soon as we document these goals, it is public knowledge.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes.
So for the youth, you would just do it off of paper, not want to meet them? I'm just.
So I would think, well, depends on how many we get, I'm gonna be very positive. Right?
Yeah.
I would narrow it to like 4 or 5, and then maybe have them come in and meet with them. But it's up to,
Before Becca knew everybody. It was Becca Haberman, and she would just she would just kind of say what she thought, but thought about them. And other times we ourselves on the youth commission would recruit kids we knew, And then we would, give a synopsis of what we thought they were like. So since we don't have that at this point, yeah, bringing them in might be a good idea.
I mean,
But-
I would bring them in, especially because I do have 2 boys at Algonquin, and I would want to make sure that it was fair and it wasn't like I was picking my friend's son. You know what I mean? Like I would want it to be above board. I wouldn't want to just choose someone because I am very close to both grades, actually, the whole school. So I would like to bring them in, but I think if we could narrow them down, that would be better. And then go from there.
I will say we didn't get a lot of applicants, so hopefully it might be a little different this time around.
You did or you didn't?
We did not.
You did not. I know I mean, I'm being positive.
And you're asking them to
Yeah.
volunteer, so I mean, this is
I
a
know.
volunteer, so if you're asking them to
I know.
volunteer and then say, oh, thanks for coming in, but we don't need your volunteer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point too, yeah.
Not bring them in, I would,
Could we bring them in? And, if we reviewed it, could we just bring them in to meet them? And maybe just if we're gonna ask 2, just bring the 2 in, so we do kind of get give them the experience of having an interview too.
I would see how many you get.
Well, yes. But if we get
Yeah.
25, we might have to.
And I might ask, like Michelle Kaylin or Lisa
Yeah.
Connery or their guidance counselor, what do you think is the best thing to do?
Yeah.
But if you're asking them to volunteer
You better take.
and then telling them no thanks, I don't really want to.
Yeah, because it's a volunteer position, that's true, that's a good point. And
Yeah,
I think they would need to, I would love to have them at least get 1 recommendation from someone from their school.
yeah, in essence, what happened, Becca would recommend, of the kids she knew, or if somebody was recommending like a friend or their own kid or something, they would recommend, and of course, say you wanted your child to be on, be the liaison, you would just, excuse yourself from the vote.
Yeah. Okay, right. Anything else?
Nope, just the last thing, we invited Jen Bruno, the library director, to attend our April 17th meeting.
Oh, wonderful.
Discussing the health and wellness survey that they were doing to kind of create their strategic plan. So she'll be taking, I think, like 10 to 15 minutes at our next.
Good.
Looking forward to hearing that. If there's nothing else, we can adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
month.